Welcome to Amish Roots, plain talk in a modern world. Thank you for joining me. I don't like long hair on me. When I was growing up Amish, I never liked my long hair. I didn't like having it combed or braided, and I certainly did not like when it needed to be washed. Before I could braid my own hair, I didn't enjoy sitting still long enough to have it done by my mom or my sisters. I always thought they pulled too hard. In hindsight, maybe they tugged on my hair, punish me for wiggling and not being patient. It seemed to me that having my hair braided was a waste of time. I didn't mind if I was strublick, which meant that loose hairs were falling in my face and coming loose. Sometimes, whoever did it tightened it so much it felt like my face was being stretched. Perhaps this is the Amish way of giving facelifts. Ah, I'm just teasing. When it came time for washing my hair, again, I thought my sisters were a bit rough, and I did not like how it felt to have water running over my head and into my eyes, even though I squeezed them tightly closed. My braids were also a source of temptation for my brothers and the boys at school who would tug on them when they wanted to annoy me. Later, when I needed to pin my hair up underneath the covering, it seemed like such a hassle. When Amish girls reach a certain age, about 13 or 14, they no longer wear their hair in two braids. You have to part it down the center and make two long rolls, which they coil around their heads and stick bobby pins in to hold it in place. When the girls make this change, it is also when they start to wear a hair covering at all times. I had a difficult time using the bobby pins so that it would hold my hair up in place. And because I was a bit rough and tumble, my hair always got put up in a hurry, so it often came undone before the day was out, causing me to undo it and reassemble. Another issue I had was the bobby pins causing my scalp to itch. So, scratching at my head was also one of the reasons the pins in my hair came loose. Ach, die Liebe! Such a vicious cycle. When I decided to leave the Amish tradition, getting my hair cut was not going to be an issue. In fact, I looked forward to having it shortened. However, when I went to the hairdressers and I told them I wanted a short, manageable cut, I got the bad news that it wasn't going to happen. I was told that if they cut my long tresses, it had to be done in stages. If they cut it short right away, my hair would spring upward. This was because it would be a shock to the system of my hair DNA or something like that. Needless to say, this was not in my plans, but I figured I should listen to the professional. As the thought of having hair that made me appear to be in constant fright did not appeal to me either. Perhaps this is where the expression, it made my hair stand on end, came from. Eventually, I ended up with the style I wear today. It is so easy to manage. Just wash, fluff it with my fingers, and I'm done. Because Amish girls and women do not cut their hair, you would assume that when I left the Amish, it was also the first time I had scissors taken to my hair. But it wasn't. One day when I was about 10, my brother was twirling a button on a string. So let me show you what this device looks like. So this is something we did quite often. We would put the string through the button and then you put your thumbs in on each side and you wind it tight. You have to wind it till it's all the string is almost cutting into your fingers. And then you start to pull it. Oh, didn't work this time. Gotta spin it up again. Okay, gotta spin it up, wind it even tighter so that the string is digging into my thumbs. because what happens when you start to pull on it, it's, oh, didn't work this time either. It worked earlier when I tried it. Let me see. All right. Then it's like an elastic. When you pull on it, it the string goes, and then it slides back and forth. And so my brother was using this, and he would thought it would be funny if he tried to scare me by putting it close to my face. But what happened was when he was pulling on it and it was moving like this, he got it close to my face, and because I had a little bit strubbly, there was hairs hanging down. He got it too close, and the button wound around my hair and just pulled on it so tight, just like a tight curler might have done. And so it was wound up in there, and my sister and I were trying to unwind it, but it wasn't working so well. So we did get permission from my mom to carefully cut the button out of its resting place on my scalp. So I wore a bald spot for a while, well, till the hair grew out again. Another time, I was playing around some old machinery parts when I slipped and I fell backwards, and my head hit a sharp prong thing, and it put kind of a little hole in my skull. And I still have the scar to this day. Again, a bit of hair was snipped away so that the wound could be administered to. It brought new meaning to the teasing of my brothers, who would accuse me of not understanding something by saying, "Do you have a hole in your head?" Well, now it was true. Well, at least until it healed. Over the years, I have had many haircuts, some good, some bad, and one that was very, very awful. Most times, I simply go to places in town where you can just walk in and get a cut. Since I wear my hair short, it seems to me that it really can't go wrong. Well, it can. It was a hot summer day, and because I don't like long hair and I don't like damp, sweaty hair hanging in my face, I knew this was the day to remove some of it. I told the young lady I want it fairly short so that I wouldn't have any on my forehead or over my ears. You see, I have to confess, this is a pet peeve of mine. So I sat in the chair as the young lady dampened my hair and began to snip away. My mind began to wander to what I considered more important matters than my hair. Suddenly, reeling my thoughts back into the task at hand, I became aware that the top of my head was looking a little bare. I commented that I thought it was getting too short, and the young lady apologized and said she would stop trimming, but she needed to even it out. As she swiped the scissors a few more times, it was slowly dawning on me that I no longer had any hair left to snip. As she handed me the mirror to check it out, I fear that I went into shock. What I was looking at was basically what you would call brush cut. I left the salon, drove home, and dissolved in tears. It certainly was not helpful when my dear husband walked in the door that evening and exclaimed, "Oh my gosh, your hair is so short!" Only to have me start to cry again. Unable to stifle his laughter, he tried to reassure me not to worry. It would grow back. Not funny and not helpful. A couple of days after the fateful haircut, I donned a baseball hat and ventured out of the house. I returned to the salon and told them how unhappy I was with the cut. When I took my hat off, the two ladies that were present gasped. Okay, now I had confirmation how bad it really was. Since it is quite impossible to return hair back onto your head, they told me that the next cut would be mine for free. Honestly, I thought this offer was a very small consolation for the hack job they did to my hair. Hats were now my new best friend, and I seldom left the house without one for the next 4 months. Yes, That is how long it took my hair to grow out enough that I could get a trim that could be shaped into a proper do. Yep, it was just like the young fellow at church said to me. Worry, Ruth. The difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is only a few weeks. Ah, words of truth for sure. Mach's gut. And we will see you on December the 11th on Amish Roots.